I recently read about the death of Barbara Greer, who was one of the editors from Naiad Press. And it got me to thinking that when I was a baby dyke 8 million years ago, there were no positive lesbian role models, and how gratefully I accepted those trashy books that were coming out of there that you'd read in a couple of hours and then toss away. And then I got to thinking that Naiad Press went by the by, and one of the reasons it went by the by is that lesbian fiction was adapted into the mainstream media. And so I came to think that their success was proven by their no longer being relevant. So there was some sort of a built-in redundancy. My question is, to some extent, is the dropping of the name gay and lesbian Mardi Gras also a reflection of our acceptance in the mainstream media? And also, is it possible that feminism is somewhat afflicted by the same problem with having been successfully adapted to a much greater extent? There's less people wanting to fight.
So you're saying because of assimilation that we're losing an identity, or?
Just because the differences are so much less evident and so much less obvious that there's not the same sort of fire.
Yep.
But can I just address that? I don't believe that the Sydney Gay and Lesbian has actually dropped gay and lesbian from the association, from the business. It's just the Mardi Gras has dropped gay and lesbian Mardi Gras, and I know that a lot of people have taken offence at that. And I don't think it's taken anything away. In fact, I think it's empowered us, because I believe that it's given us the power to say, we are not excluding you like you exclude us. And that's the way I look at it. So, you know, I think that feminism, because of it being 2011/12, it's a different time. And I think that the youth of today, the young baby dykes who are coming out, like my esteemed colleague here, are all, they're more knowledgeable because of the media, because there is more information out there, because people are writing on the social media, there are groups, there are things. And I know that there's not a lot in the big cities, there are, but not so much in the country. And in fact, recently I was up at Coast Out at Coffs Harbour, which is a fantastic weekend that's held up there. It was for the second year, and there were these 3 little baby dykes. They were so fucking cute. And they were like 17, 18. They were just 18 because they were having beers, so they must have been 18.
Of course.
And
of course they were.
Of course they were.
Yeah.
And one of them was like super dyke. She was super dyke. She was like dyke everywhere, dyke. And the other 2 weren't quite sure what they were yet, but they knew that they liked pussy, right? But they weren't really sure what they were. But they couldn't identify in any particular way. And I said to them, how hard is it for you here in the country, you know, to be gay? And I know it's very difficult because you're far away from the big city. And they said, you know what, we got groups at such and such, and we got this and we got that, and it's much easier. And now that we met you, and then they went, can you introduce me to that DJ? And I went, and it was Kitty Glitter, right? Now, Kitty Glitter, those of you who don't know, Kitty Glitter is a man. And Kitty just spent $700 to buy fake tits from America, and they looked pretty, like, really real. And she said, do you think you could introduce me to that DJ? And I went, sure, you want to meet Kitty? And she goes, is it a man? I said, do you like men? She went, no. And I said, then I'm not introducing you. But those girls were absolutely empowered, and I think that, you know, even though they were up in the far north coast, they were still empowered because of the media, because people were writing on Facebook, because they had friends. They were only a very small group, but they are empowered, and we need to be encouraging those kids. I work at a university in the daytime, my day job. I'm a teacher, and you know, we have quite a big gay community on campus, and it's fantastic. And I'm one of those ones who says, every time they go, oh, that's so gay, I say, oh, really? I say, well, that's like saying that is so a guy in a red shirt. And it makes them stop and think, and realise that it's offensive. And, you know, and I think that the more that they speak about it, the better it is.
My point was not that it's a bad thing, just that in some ways it may be proof of our success.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think it is.
I think so.
May I ask a question? What the hell television are you watching? Because I'd love to know what those channels are. Every time I tune into something that's supposed to be lesbian-based, the sex is so sanitised. It's certainly not how my partner and I are having sex.
Yeah, hello.
And may I address the country thing? My partner actually comes from Cootamundra. Well, she actually comes from several smaller areas of the country before she moved to the big smoke of Cootamundra. And when we walk down the street together, it ain't a pretty sight. Okay, so I really don't think the battle is won.
No, I'm not saying
And
that the battle is won.
I think that we do live in a heterosexual-dominated world, and anything that's not clearly labelled as not being heterosexual is immediately assumed to be that, which is why I have stamped across my forehead, queer fucking lesbian.
Bravo.
And can I just put a little word in for feminism? Feminism is not... What feminism is a way of seeing. It's a way of seeing that puts women at the centre of their own lives. This is not something that will ever become redundant.
It's true. That is true.